to Golgotha, and on the cross the Savior bled.
Here we are again at this most important day. It's been 4 years, but it seems like yesterday. It's time to vote again. We can't let nothing get in our way. 4 years has passed, and we have so much to say. So now's the time to cast your vote, 'cause voting is our only hope. It's time again to get out and vote. Yes, it's time again to get out and vote. Don't you vote, people. 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 Don't you vote.
Good morning. It is Thursday morning, 9 a.m. And so it must be People Power with Priscilla. We are the people and we have the power. And this morning I am honored to have two guests with me that we're going to be talking about a predatory lender in our city. I have Mr. Derek Harper and Ursula Humes, and they are going to be talking about there's a important hearing coming up on
10th.
Tuesday the 10th at 2 o'clock, and they're going to be talking about it and how we got to this point. So you want to start, Derek?
Sure. I'm Derek Harper. I live in Hyde Park. And we filed, the National Coalition of Against Predatory Lending filed a class action lawsuit against Blue Hub Capital. They're located on Malcolm X Boulevard in the Fifield building, right in our community. This goes back several years when a lot of us, our mortgages were underwater or we were facing foreclosure, and they offered what we thought was an olive branch, a thought was a way out. And they in fact did refinance your mortgage and help us get on our feet, but unbeknownst to us, hidden in the paperwork was what they called a shared appreciation mortgage. They didn't tell us about it, they didn't explain it, but we did sign. And it entitles them to equity. In my case, 50% of my equity, should I sell my home, refinance my home, convey the title to my children, or pay off the mortgage, then they want a balloon payment of 50% of your equity. Some people, it's been as high as 75%. So there doesn't seem to be any real standard. When we talk to our experts, they say that in other parts of the country, no one does shared appreciation mortgage the way Blue Hub is doing it. And Blue Hub has tried to get our legislatures to pass laws to shield them, to give them immunity against past practices. We filed a lawsuit. We're having summary judgment next Tuesday, September 10th. The public is welcome to come. It's in Boston Superior Court. I believe it's in courtroom 1015 at 2 o'clock. You're welcome to come. We encourage you to come so you can see and hear for yourself. But if Blue Hub was so correct or so right, they wouldn't have tried to get legislatures to pass bills that would shield them. There are a couple of bills that have been, we've managed to keep them in the judiciary. We've been fighting it. We've protested. We go down to the State House. We meet with the representatives. Then they attach amendments. They've done that a couple of times. The other bills, the most recent was Amendment 256 that was attached to the House Ways and Means bill. They kind of did it sneaky. We find out Tuesday, and they're trying to pass legislation Wednesday, Thursday. But we went down, we mobilized, we talked to our representatives. It did not pass. Now we're up to next week. We're going to have our day in court. That's what we want. We're fighting Blue Hill Capital.
That's so good. It's a shame that you have to go through all this, But Blue Hub Capital, they need to be held accountable.
Yes.
And they need not to be trying to push legislation through that's going to do more harm to our community.
Yes.
So, Miss Ursula,
Yes, ma'am.
how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
It's nice meeting you.
Same here.
Welcome to my show.
Thank you very much.
Listen, I want you to tell your story, if you don't mind, about how you got involved with the National Coalition Against Predatory Lending.
My story is that it's about 2010. I was facing foreclosure on my property, and we're in the court, and one of the clerks told me to get in touch with City Life. City Life suggested that I go to Blue Hub Capital.
Oh, City Life suggested you go there?
Oh, yes. They're the one
Really?
that did all the paperwork, and everything was done at the City Life office.
On Amory Street?
Yes.
Did they have lawyers helping you all? Because I know, did you go there like on a Tuesday evening? Or did you meet them? Because I know they have lawyers that's supposed to help you
Yes.
if you're going through that process.
We had a lawyer, but they were all for Blue Hub Capital, that this was a good program to get into.
Did they know about the shared appreciation mortgage?
I cannot say on that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they did, but I cannot swear on that. I don't know.
All right.
And well, anyway, we did the paperwork, and the day that I was supposed to, what they call pass papers, signed everything off, I felt that something was wrong. So I asked them if I could go back home and think about it, and they said, if you do that, then
The deal's off.
the deal is off.
Yeah.
So I did not, and I signed everything, and everything was good. First of all, let me say to you that when they bought my house, they bought it for $170,000 from the banker, and then they had an upkeep of 25% added when they sold it back to me, with very high interest.
Okay.
And on top of that, they told me at the time, I wasn't that worried because I asked if I could refinance. And they said, oh yes, you can refinance. As long as you're in good standing in about a year or so. I waited for really about 5 years before I went back. And when I started everything with Santander Bank, there was an issue. First, I went to them. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm going too fast. And they told me, no, we do not do refinance. I said, but that's what you told me the day that we passed papers, that you could refinance me. But they said they didn't do it. So I went somewhere else and I got all of that set. Santander had the check ready, sent it to the bank that I deal with, which is called Dover Mule Mortgage, and they rejected the payoff. Why? Because I had to pay off 53% of my equity, something that I was not aware of. I did not know that they had put this shared appreciation on my mortgage. I did not know that I had a second mortgage. And Santander kept telling me that you have a second mortgage. And I said, no, I do not. Because I only pay one mortgage.
Right.
And to find out that it was 53%. So with how my home has increased in value and the work that I have done on it, if I give them 53% plus whatever left on my mortgage, they will be making over $500,000
Oh my God.
on me.
That is ridiculous.
So that's the reason why we are fighting, because I'm not the only one that this has happened to. Some have it even higher than I do, 75%.
Yes, I've heard so many horror stories about this, and we have been joined by the star of the hour, Miss Nadella Thomas, who has been fighting, I mean, just vigorously, really like holding these people's feet to the fire. And I'm so glad to see you this morning. So
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to see you. You are one of the points to our North Star, because this is groundwork effort. This is really neighbor to neighbor. This is getting out in front, and we couldn't be more successful in how we define success without having platforms like yours to get the message out to the community.
Well,
So
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's my mission, to get the message out to the community, because we this is horrible. This is totally unacceptable. This reminds me so much of redlining back in the late 80s, 90s. Yes. That's why the Mass Affordable Housing Alliance was built, was created because of the same thing. You know, they were doing the same thing. They were giving people mortgages like home improvement loans, and they were giving them outrageous interest rates, and people were losing their homes. And this is just like a repeat, right? And so Blue Hub needs to be held accountable, really. And so I'm so happy that there's a court date Tuesday. Derek was telling us, Nadella, that Tuesday at 2 p.m. at the courthouse downtown Boston it's room 1015, so I believe that might be the 10th floor.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, and so all of you are, you may...
Hey, this is Pastor Bruce Wall of Global Ministries Christian Church, Boston Praise Radio and TV, 102.9 FM radio On Sunday morning, January 5th, 12th, and 19th at 10:30 a.m., we are hosting an estate planning seminar at the Global Ministries Christian Church with Curtis and Daisy Chambers. That's right. Right after the church service, we will host this needed seminar. In 2025, our churches need to do more than just have services on Sunday. What will you do if you have a death in the family? Suppose a family member had to be placed in a nursing home. Do you have a health proxy? Are you ready for the unexpected? We will discuss this and more on Sunday morning, January 5th, 12th, and 19th at 10:30 a.m. That's Sunday morning, January 5th, 12th, and 19th at 10:30 a.m. It's time for us to protect ourselves, our families, and friends. Join us on Sunday morning, January 5th, 12th, and 19th at 10:30 a.m. at the Global Ministries Christian Church, 670 Washington Street, Dorchester, Mass., zip code 02124. That's Sunday morning, January 5th, 12th, and 19th at 10:30 a.m. at the Global Ministries Christian Church, 670 Washington Street, Dorchester, Mass., zip code 02124. Looking forward to seeing you there.
You know, you may think you're the only one that has been a victim of this blue hub, and you may be ashamed, but there's nothing to be ashamed of, because we are united we stand, divided we fall, and we need to start going after these predatory lenders, these people who are coming into our community and trying to destroy us, take our homes, take our money. It's not fair, and it needs to stop. And we are the people, and we have the power, and we will be stopping it. So tell us a little bit more about some of the other folks that may be down there. I believe this is a national coalition, so there's other states, people that from other states that are being harmed by this organization. So Nadella, tell us how long have you been working with the national coalition?
So we actually started out just finding out that there was a pattern. Mm-hmm. So it could happen to me, mm-hmm. not knowing I had a shared appreciation mortgage. Mm-hmm. And this is a 501c3 charitable organization. They're registered with the state. And it's like, well, who else are they doing this to? Mm-hmm. So it was upon research and investigating, we saw patterns. And it's not like a shared appreciation was 5% or 10%. You're talking about this charitable organization taking the equity, an additional mortgage, which goes 42%, 53%, 59%, as high as 75%. That is outrageous. So we started out as the hand up crew, because we wanted a hand up, not a hand out. Right. And that's what we called ourselves. But then we started expanding. When we started getting the message out there about the harm that Blue Hub Capital is doing, we got calls from residents in Rhode Island, in New Jersey, in Illinois, in Maryland, and they said, hey, I have this mortgage too. It was like, go look at your paperwork. And that's when they came to find out. So we expanded. And then when Blue Hub responded and said that our case was baseless and it had no merit, but they were willing to negotiate if we surrendered our deeds, we knew that we were more than just the hand-up crew. So we expanded, and we called ourselves the National Coalition Against Predatory Lending, because we're fighting predatory lending, but it takes all of us. That's right. It takes all of us. And this has started since 2018. We worked our way through the pandemic. When COVID hit, we kept organizing on Zoom, and people were steadfast and persistent. And we know our truth. And we're not going to let a predatory lender like Blue Hub give us the narrative of how we should live our lives and create legacy for our families. It's not going to happen.
And not only that, the fact that they're trying to sneak legislation in. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. I was at a meeting a long time ago, and someone said, Oh, they make most of these laws at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. So they'll be there. They'll stay there just to pass that one law. But thank God it did not get passed again.
Well, right now they have the Section 256, and I know, Derek, you had spoke about it. We've been up there
I know you have. I know you have.
3 o'clock in the morning watching what they're doing. And this is Blue Hub's attempt to try and, you've heard talk in the news about, maybe somebody with their own agenda wanting to rewrite laws and roll back. Well, that's happening here in Massachusetts. This progressive state is trying to do sharecropping, 3.0. And it's happening and it's real. So what we did in the last few weeks is we created a petition. And in 2 weeks, we gathered 400 signatures.
Okay.
This is the grassroots. This is talking neighbor to neighbor to say, strike out this Section 256 in the Economic Development Bill, and in the informal session, do not let this language pass.
Right. And did you deliver those signatures?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So the next step, right? So now the legislation has to look at that and decide if they're going to go yay or nay, correct?
Correct.
But in the meantime, there's a court date, right? So
right.
tell us about what that means and how long it took you all to get to this point.
Well, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of faith. But we kept calling. We kept writing. We kept emailing people. We kept investigating, and we have wonderful attorneys who understand what this is, who understands that what Blue Hub is trying to do is unprecedented. It is
illegal.
Illegal, saying out loud. We've had conversations with politicians that said, back in the day, they would have probably been in jail.
Yeah.
But we want them to stop this practice.
Right.
It's no good right now because there's a couple of things going on. The housing market is not underwater. The values are not distressed. And while you do have homeowners that are being foreclosed on, it's that value of the equity that makes it salient to Blue Hub.
Right.
So their program is not working now. So anything that they're using right now, it's straight profits to Blue Hub, and that's why we're putting a stop into it. So it means a lot to me. Ursula, what does it mean to you to get us to this point?
It means everything. And one thing I wanted to say to all the listeners, this is not only happening to us. If they get this legislation passed, or if they stop us in anything, that means that any other mortgager that you may have your loan with, you have an issue with, and you know that it's not being fair to you, they will be allowed to just get away with it because your hands will be tied. So we are not doing this just for ourselves.
Right.
It's for everybody.
Right.
That's a great point.
So Derek, how do you feel? Like, I know you've been in the midst of all this. Do you feel like Tuesday can really make a difference and make a big change if the court goes with you? So are you all planning on testifying? How does that work, or is just the lawyers going to talk?
I believe the lawyers, are representing us.
Okay.
But through a lot of prayer, we're going to be out there in force. And see, what happens is when you file a class action lawsuit, it has to be declared a class action lawsuit, and they call it the process summary judgment.
Okay.
That's what we're doing Tuesday, and the lawyers are making that case.
Okay.
See, because they're defying established truth in lending and borrowing practices and things that have been going on for years to protect consumers.
Right.
They're undermining it, they're defying it, they're breaking the law. And once this case becomes certified class action, then we can talk turkey with them.
Okay.
Then they're going to have to deal with us, and they're going to have to release us from the SAM and et cetera. And some of the folks who actually paid out that money would be entitled to get that money back.
Right.
We're not playing, we're going down for the count. We are right. God's on our side. We're praying. We're doing everything we can
Right.
You know, we've had billboards in Grove Hall. We've had billboards on 93. We've led protests. You know, the petition was one thing that Nadella talked about. But we're letting everybody know.
That's right. That's right.
And we want everybody to come out.
Right. Tuesday at 2:00.
Tuesday at 2:00.
Downtown Boston, in
Superior Court.
Suffolk Superior Court. And while we're talking about Superior Court, I would like to congratulate Allison Cartwright
Yay.
for winning the election of the Superior Judiciary Clerk. I'm so happy for her. I'm so proud of her. And, you know, change is coming, y'all. Change is definitely coming. So I just wanted to do a shout out to Allison. I had her on my show before she went, before the election. So we're happy about that. At least we got one in.
You had a great program. Primary night was very good.
Pastor Nadella liked that show.
I did. 2 thumbs up.
So so I mean I plan on being there Tuesday, God willing, because I feel like this is something that really needs to be addressed. I'm going to see who we can get down there for media, because this is something that is not just like in Massachusetts. It's in other states, in other cities. And we are sick and tired of being sick and tired people. We got to stand up for our rights. We can't keep letting them step on our neck. It's time. We are in 2024, getting ready to elect our first black woman president, and we are about to make history in all types of fashions. So let's make history by putting Blue Hub out of business.
That's right.
You know, because we work hard for our money. We work hard to purchase our homes. Everybody goes through something. You know, there's a book called The Black Tax. The author name is Sean Rochester, and he talks about different ways that black people are discriminated against through insurance, through their name, through the fact that a black doctor makes $65,000 less than a white doctor. I mean, these are comparisons. And I mean, when I first read that book, I just couldn't believe all the, you know, if your name, they look at your name and say, oh, well, that's a black person, you know, I mean, it's just the way they our insurance is higher. Car insurance, home insurance, everything. And so it's time for us to stand up and take our rightful place in this community, in this country, because we have a crazy man running for president, okay? And we have to be able, I mean, they're giving him immunity from everything. And so what, we're going to be in a lawless country now? I mean, really, when you think about the things that are going on. So I just, you know, I really appreciate the work that you're doing, because it's a lot of work. Grassroots work is a lot of work when you're fighting the system, when you're fighting government, because your elected officials that you have elected aren't even standing up for you. So what does that say?
Well, you make a really great point about that when you were saying grassroots. This really is grassroots, because, you know, we went into our agreements, and now we know who Blue Hub Capital is. But then you are supposed to be like, well, who are the advocates for us? Now, one would assume for fair housing, equitable housing, affordable housing, anti-predatory lending, it would be our elected officials. But that was an eye-opening for us in a lesson in civics, because a lot of what we were finding, actually, the most outspoken ones were the white politicians. And, you know, I hate to say it, but they were really outspoken about it. And the ones who would say one thing and then be mum in another form were the black politicians in our communities. So we understood that we had to take not just steps, but leaps and bounds with our faith, with our persistence. And we went up there, and we continue to go up there at the State House. They actually know who we are. Because
they actually know your name.
They know our names. Because we won't stop.
Right, and you shouldn't stop. You know, we can't stop. You know, we're in a world now with everything goes, but we as black people, American freedmen, we are still on the bottom of the totem pole. Everybody comes before us.
Our vote should not be taken for granted.
Exactly.
And when these elected officials are supposed to be out here advocating for us, we have to hold them accountable too.
Exactly. I totally agree. That's why we're starting the PAC.
You're so bad.
The Political Action Committee.
Love it.
Do we have a call, Pastor? Oh, okay. So we will be starting the PAC, a Political Action Committee, and because we have to have the right to be able to elect our own officials, our own leaders, and the best way to do that is to create our own PAC, raise money for the people that we believe will support us. And I think that the way that you do that is you look at their history, the work that they've already done, and the work that they're doing. I have an issue with people just pop up out of nowhere and say, "Oh, I'm running for office." Running for what? What have you done? And so, we do have a major election coming up, and so our vote is very important, people. The only time your vote don't count is when you don't cast it. So November 5th, everybody got to go to the polls. Everybody. And so I'm excited about Tuesday because, I'm glad that you all protested over there already, because we're going to have to go back and protest the post office, because what they're doing is insane too. The Roxbury post office, I have reached out to the elected officials. Everybody want to throw it to the federal level, so it is federal, the post office. And so we're expecting our Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, our Senator Ed Markey, and our Senator Elizabeth Warren to find out what is going on in the Roxbury post office. Not only Roxbury, but Grove Hall as well. And there are other people aren't getting their mail. I mean, literally, there's 5 trucks of mail sitting in Roxbury that have not been
Delivered?
Sorted. Never mind delivered, and so these types of things continue to happen in our community. We're losing our hospitals. They're closing the hospitals, Connie wasn't the best hospital, but it was something,
That's right.
And then the Walgreens, they're closing the Walgreens, so, and everything's being done in our community.
Yes.
You don't see that stuff going on in Wellesley or Newton or Brookline. You don't see none of this stuff that's going on over here. And so we are the people, we have the power, and we need to come down and support the National Coalition Against Predatory Lending. Because you know what? It could happen to you.
Yes.
It could happen to you.
Yes.
Nobody is immune from this. We all go through hardship. We all have problems with money, and we lose our jobs, or we get laid off, or there's all types of things that happen to us, right? And so
It's called life.
Exactly. And so, but we shouldn't be penalized. We shouldn't be taken advantage of. We shouldn't be used, abused, and confused.
That's right.
And so it's time, people. It's time to make a change. We are the people, and we can do it. It's time. It's 2024, and what's going on? Like, we look at I don't know if you all have seen that report. The 2020. What is it, Pastor? 2025. Yeah. I was reading. Someone gave me like a cheat sheet that just kind of like highlighted, because I don't think I'm gonna be reading no 900 something pages, but the fact that they already created this document and saying what they're gonna do, they're gonna have us back in slavery time.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a new day. We ain't gonna take it. There was somebody that wrote a book that said we shoot back. And so it's just like, it's the revolution. Gil Scott Heron said the revolution will not be televised. It will be brought to you live and in color. And that is exactly what's happening. Because everything that we're facing is just, it's just crazy.
They're
really,
willing to say it out loud.
Yeah, they don't care. They do not care. So it's up to us. It's up to us to train our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, our nieces and our nephews. We got to let them know that your vote is important. And you can't being out here doing crazy things. It's time for us to unite.
Hey, This is Pastor Bruce Wall of Global Ministries Christian Church, Boston Praise Radio and TV, and 102.9 FM radio. On Sunday morning, January 5th, 12th, and 19th at 10:30 a.m., we are hosting an estate planning seminar at the Global Ministries Christian Church with Curtis and Daisy Chambers. That's right. Right after the church service, we will host this needed seminar. In 2025, our churches need to do more than just have services on Sunday. What will you do if you have a death in the family? Suppose a family member had to be placed in a nursing home. Do you have a health proxy? Are you ready for the unexpected? We will discuss this and more on Sunday morning, January 5th, 12th, and 19th at 10:30 a.m. That's Sunday morning, January 5th, 12th, and 19th at 10:30 a.m. It's time for us to protect ourselves, our families, and friends. Join us on Sunday morning, January 5th, 12th, and 19th at 10:30 a.m. at the Global Ministries Christian Church, 670 Washington Street, Dorchester, Mass., zip code 02124. That's Sunday morning, January 5th, 12th, and 19th at 10:30 a.m. at the Global Ministries Christian Church, 670 Washington Street, Dorchester, Mass., zip code 02124. Looking forward to seeing you there.
As a community, as a family. Yeah. Because that's basically, when you think about it, I forgot who sang that song. We a family. We got all my sisters and me, but we are family.
Sister Sledge.
Yeah, okay. But when you think about it, we are family.
We are.
You know? And so we need to stand together. Instead of being combative and in competition all the time, we need to be collaborating and coming together and thinking of ideas, you know? I mean, we have access to social media just like everybody else has access to social media. So why don't we flood our social medias with things that are going on, letting people know where to come and where to go and how to get it? Because I remember COVID, you know, our community came together, you know? And so we have to think of it as a crisis. It's the things that are happening to us. The medical field, I mean, things are happening in these hospitals that people don't know nothing about, and it's criminal what is going on.
You know, the National Coalition Against Predatory Lending, you know, it came out of something born from, you know, taking advantage of regular people. Mm-hmm. But what came out of this group is there are so many people that are willing to give their talents, and not only give their talents, but then you see them rise to it. Because we've done things that we never thought that we would be able to do. You know, we've written letters to the governor, you know, both administrations. You know, we've written to letters of the Attorney General in both administrations. We've been on, you know, podcasts, you know, we spoken, been quoted in articles, you know, but we came up with ideas. We never stopped. So if you have a talent and you can lend that to it as a group, there's so much more that you can do to get your message out there and really be effective.
Sure.
Blue Hub can't, you know, doesn't corner the market on you know, how we think and how we proceed. Right. You know, they might have the politicians bought, not all of them, some of them, but they haven't bought everybody.
That's right.
Their pockets don't run that deep, and they're not going to keep us quiet. Did you invite Elise Cherry on your
No, I haven't gotten in touch with her yet.
Oh,
but
she doesn't answer your calls. Oh, yeah.
Trust me.
We know.
I'm gonna get her. I'm definitely gonna try to get her on my show.
Well, it's
because
really,
I definitely have some questions.
You know, it's interesting. When we testified in front of the Judiciary Committee back in May, she was there, and we filled the space. We were there in force, and it was noted because one of the chair said to Miss Cherry words to the effect, you know, you say that you have this program that's doing good, and yet there are so many people behind you, you know, turning their head left to right, in the negative of what you're saying. Where is that disconnect? Well, I don't understand why you don't see that disconnect. And she's like, well, I don't know. I don't know. So she there was no connection there. And then she went on even further to say that the pending legislation would not affect the lawsuit. That was an outright lie. Outright lie to the committee, because this measure and the language right now does not say that it's retroactive.
Okay.
You know, so they're political players. They back a lot of people, and they do these maneuverings. But we've met them every step of the way.
Good. I'm glad you're giving them a fight, a run for their money.
Well,
because we have to. Because if you don't, we'll just get trampled over.
Right.
Imagine if you all weren't bringing this attention to what's going on.
Exactly.
A lot of more people would be getting hurt. So if Blue Hub Capital call you, hang the phone up, okay?
That's right. That's right.
I'm so serious. Because that is what happens. And then they start off with one name, and then they change their name,
Right.
I mean, these are the things that they do, and these are the things that they've been doing. And and so it's up to us, we the people, just us, we have to come together. So I'm hoping to see some people on Tuesday, and you all should call Mamleo on Saturday morning. They have a very large listening audience as well. They're on every Saturday from 7 to 10, and you should call in about 8 o'clock and talk to them and talk to Larry, because this is important.
Right.
This is very important, and go ahead, Derek.
No.
Oh, and that's why that's another reason why I have the Marcus Anthony Hall Educational Institute, so our young folks can learn the process and what happens and how you do things and how you get things done, because there are now our young folks that are out here now, and they have so much access. The world is wide open to them, and we just have to we got to get a little bit closer together. We got to start creating our own narrative. We got to start, we may have to go back to protesting, making noise, disrupting stuff, interrupting stuff.
Agitate.
Yes. So I'm definitely glad that you all were able to come out, because we need to keep it in front of the community. We need to let people know, listen, we ain't afraid, we ain't scared. God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind.
Yes.
And so I fear no man. And so I just feel like it's time now for us to, we probably need to call some of our pastors and see if they will come down and support, because it can be affected by everybody. Nobody is immune, And so I know there was like other folks that were part of the of what you all are doing. So will they be, hopefully they'll be able to come out on Tuesday. So I know you've been doing the crying call. Did you bring me some more flyers? Because I have an event on Saturday. I was going to put them out.
I think I have some in my car. Yeah.
Okay, good. So
I'm off for you anyway.
But so we have to this is awful. I mean, if there are any listeners out there who have been subject to Blue Hub Capital, you can call in and tell us your story. But if you are out there, I would suggest, and if you have the time, to come down to the courthouse. If you work in town, take your lunch at 2 o'clock and show up.
Yes.
Just come for a minute to support these people. To support the National Coalition Against Predatory Lending, because these things are just unacceptable.
It's going to open the floodgates, as Ursula said. If we don't stop it now, it's going to open the floodgates for all the other bad actors to say, we can do this out loud.
Yeah.
We can go after you.
Yeah.
Your very houses are on the line. Where you live, how you choose to live.
Yeah.
It's very serious.
It is. It is.
Come on out. Come on out.
Yes, because
Please.
the more people that show up, the more they'll see that we're serious,
Yes.
and that we're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and enough is enough.
Yes.
And it's how long did it take you all to actually get the court date to actually, like, I'm quite sure your lawyers and had to file all those papers and get it done, but about how long did it take?
So we filed in 2020.
Ooh.
Yes, and then COVID.
Yeah.
And then a lot of that time is they're trying to do Blue Hub side is bury us through paperwork and attrition, which is saying the same thing over and over again. We're the good guys. What we did was, we were trying to help you. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have your home. Well, if that was the case, you should have put that paperwork out in the front of us
Exactly.
and give us a choice. So it's
And-
been since 2020. We filed motions. We've had depositions. We have our plaintiffs. And we have our experts too. We have experts, One of the people who literally wrote the Truth in Lending Act and the tenets of that is speaking for us.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes. My name is Willie Ann Lytle, and I live in Prince George's County, Maryland. And I just wanted to say that I am a victim of Blue Hub Capital. They're stretched out all over, and I would like to see an end to this. I do belong to the National Coalition of Predatory Lenders group.
Welcome. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome. And I just wanted to let everybody know that they are crooks. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. They pretend that they're going to help you, but in reality, it's a bad deal. Bad deal. They just take it all from you, What happened to me was I got involved with them, and they claimed that they would buy my house and resell it back to me at a discount price. But to find out at the end, they took out a second mortgage on my home. I didn't even know until and then they told me that the interest rate was high. And they told me that I could refinance later, not to worry about that. And when I really did try to refinance, they told me I had a second mortgage. I don't have a second mortgage, And it was just awful. It was a nightmare. I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but
we need to hear this. People need to hear this, because this shows a pattern of them doing this. And every story I have heard has been the same exact thing. Nothing has changed. And so we need to stop this.
Yeah, we do.
And so I'm appreciative of you calling, because we need to know who all else is out there. And if they get this class action suit, then it's a go. It's a go. So I thank you for calling. I really do, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
She's with us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Willie Ann.
Yes, thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Oh, I know.
Pardon?
How did you find our radio station?
I went online.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Bella probably told her.
And Willie Ann's telling everybody else, too.
Yeah.
Well, I know they hit Prince George's County. I'm not the only one in Prince George's County that they attacked or are victims of Blue Hub. So,
Thank you so much for calling in.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Have a good
All
day.
right. You too.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, so yep, so as you all heard, it's it's everywhere. It's not just here in Boston and Massachusetts. But we can start here. We can start and make the change and make the difference and let people know that you do not have to be afraid of Blue Hub Capital. So maybe I'll send a letter to Miss Elise asking her after Tuesday.
Sure.
I'll see if I can get her on the show. We'll see. I'll be nice.
You have the truth.
But yeah, I mean, because if this continues to happen, then that just means that more people are going to lose their homes, and people buy a home. It reminds me of the deed restriction stuff. They were supposed to have a hearing today, but they changed it to the 19th. Yes, thank you, Nadella. the 19th of this month, because